My name is Nick, and welcome to my channel where I like to talk about scary stuff. A Quiet Place Part 2 is the sci-fi sequel following the remaining members of the Abbott family as they try to survive in a world overrun by alien creatures using sound to hunt their prey. You know A Quiet Place, the first one was a damn pop culture phenomenon. Everyone saw it. Here's my hot take to start the review out with. I'm not the biggest fan, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I thought it was fine. It's a pretty solid creature feature thriller, and it's entertaining and all, but by the time we got to the end, I was just like, really? That's it? I was mostly whelmed by the film. But I can say I immediately appreciate the original a little bit more because it led to this sequel that builds the world and continues to develop the characters in an interesting and entertaining way. This certainly is a sequel, mostly in the best ways, but one of the things that put me off in the beginning was the fact that there are numerous nods to the first film. We see the store from the first film before it was torn apart. When we pick up with the Abbott family, it's directly after the events of the first one, and I like that there's little time wasted in the storytelling, but I also felt like I was being reminded of a different film, much like the new Star Wars movies made me feel. John Krasinski is clearly a talented director, and I can't wait to see what he does outside of A Quiet Place. Not to take away from his work here, because I think he definitely went in there and got the job done, but I feel like this movie was kind of his way of being like, hey Paramount, here's your franchise. Now let me go do other things. I want to see other people. I really wouldn't be surprised to see him hop over to a different franchise or start something completely original all on his own after this. Not only can he pull off effective action and suspense sequences, but he can also do a jump scare like the best of them. There was one that actually made me spill my popcorn. Like, I don't think I've ever done that. This movie is definitely designed to be a thrill ride, as it plays out much like the first one on a greater scale in an expanded environment, so if you're just looking to get freaked out by these creatures, you will have a good time. Krasinski brings back the Jurassic Park vibes, and I am so glad to see this kind of movie playing on the big screen. The opening disaster sequence in particular had me slamming my popcorn like Brenda in Scary Movie 3, and most of that energy and tension is held throughout the first half of the film. I did think it started to slow down in that middle chunk, but then there's a sequence closer towards the end that comes almost out of nowhere, and it brought me right to the edge of my seat. I have to say, it won me over mostly because it just did things that I wanted to see happen in this movie. It's pretty light on story, it's more like a mission that we see unfold, but the way the developments fell into place happened exactly how I wanted them to. I am so sick of seeing movies where characters are going so far out of their way to mess things up in order to make the plot work. But this movie respects its audience and has smart characters working their way through difficult situations in ways that I think most of us would like to believe we would handle them. And all of the actors are doing a great job here. Of course, Emily Blunt acts as the perfect anchor for this film, but I like that all of the characters get to shine. Noah Jupe was really strong with his storyline, and I was glad to see them take the time to develop a nuanced arc for his character. And how nice to see Cillian Murphy back in one of these movies. I personally credit 28 Days Later with the post-millennium obsession with this type of content, and seeing him in A Quiet Place 2, it's like a signal that the subgenre is evolving in the right direction. Millicent Simmons is easily the standout once again, and I really hope to see her become the face of this franchise. I mean, I think she already is, but there are things done with her character in this movie that I thought they were kind of gonna set up for the next one, but they do them in this movie, and I think it just shows what a strong character she is and how much they can explore with her. I mean, I would watch like 7 more of these movies if we're just seeing her character develop in this world. I'm here for it. Don't let me get ahead of myself, but we just may have the next Ripley on our hands. A Quiet Place 2 slightly suffers from trying to be this manufactured blockbuster experience, but as a popcorn munching time in a dark movie theater, I thought it was a blast. As for the concept, I'm gonna give A Quiet Place Part 2 a 4 out of 5. It is a standard creature feature at the end of the day, but I appreciated that it did more with the characters and story than I expect to see in the next Jurassic World movie. For execution, I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5, and I really do think that John Krasinski is a talented director. I just can't shake the feeling that this movie exists simply because the studio wanted it to. And for entertainment value, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 because it's the exact type of movie that I've been waiting for. I think it could have used a little bit more tension in the middle, but otherwise, it's a damn good time at the movies. As for my personal grade, I'm gonna give A Quiet Place Part 2 a 3 out of 5. While it was a fun ride to go on, I can't see myself revisiting it 2 years from now, and I don't feel the need to tell you to rush out to see it immediately, although I do have to say that I think most of what made the experience for me was going to the theater. I feel like if I watched this on streaming, I'd be very meh on it. What do you think of the Quiet Place movies? Do you plan on seeing part 2 in theaters, or are you gonna wait for streaming? Let me know, and if you're not already subscribed, well, here's your personal invitation. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any creepy content. Feel free to follow me on Instagram and Letterboxd for more movie recommendations. That's it for this video, but I won't stop you from watching another.